In a world where global cities dominate the economy, we will learn more about these catalysts of change in this new five-part miniseries entitled Global City.
Good morning. We're here to talk to you about the greatest examples of our globalized world, the global city. From New York to London all the way to Shanghai, the global city has taken over the global scene. So, without further ado, sit back, relax, and let's binge. You're watching the first episode of The Global City. First, let's define what the global city really is. What is this modern concoction? In the simplest of terms, a global city is a hub for multinational business and enterprise. All global cities give you the chance to conduct a business with ease. Example being, a businessman in Shanghai during the morning would be able to continue his work with relative ease once he travels to Tokyo in the afternoon. Global cities, you see, are not a new phenomenon, as seen evident by the great merchant cities of history, such as Venice, Genoa, Istanbul, and Macau, to name a few. Globalization has turned the concept of merchant cities into a larger scale model, the term being coined first in the 1980s to label the world's most important cities, most notably the ones accelerating the notion of a globalized world. Tune in for the next episode for further explanation of this great modern phenomenon.
Previously on Global City, we have known about the premises we need to know about the global cities. Now, on the next episode, we will be knowing about the examples and the advantages and disadvantages of global cities. Now, let's tune in. On the second episode of the Global City, we will be knowing about some examples. These are the top 6 global cities in 2020, according to Kearney. New York, USA. London, UK. Paris, France. Tokyo, Japan. Beijing, China. And Hong Kong, Hong Kong. But how did they become global cities in the first place? First, they are known to be the center of commercial progress. They are the epitome of highly advanced countries. Second, they are known for highly industrialized people. And we can see here the evidence of modernization. Third, they are known to have a great global appeal. And fourth, they are the center of enculturation of modernization inside their culture. Now, let us tune in for the third episode of our series. The third episode of Global City, the effects, advantages and disadvantages of global cities. We can see here first the advantages and disadvantages of global cities. As advantages, we can see that there is an increase in economic growth. You can see that there are people who are industrialized in these parts. Then we can see the manifestation of a highly modern city. Third is that they are the center of commercial progress. Now we can see the disadvantages of global cities. First, there will be inequalities between state areas against transnational corporations, because we can see that There is a big difference between transnational corporations and other parts of the country. There will also be segmented labor markets, wherein on transnational corporations, we can see that there are many other people than in other countries or on country parts of the country. The next would be they disassociate the city from its actual territorial, ethnic, or cultural setting due to the modernization that happened in those cities. Now, let us tune in on the next episode.
Previously in Global City, the examples and advantages and disadvantages of global cities have already been presented. In this segment of the series, the relevance of global cities will be further explained. You're watching episode 4 of Global Cities. Why are global cities necessary in this world? There are three major reasons why modern cities or global cities are considered significant in today's time. First are the centralized nodes. Instead of having numerous different cities for export, countries could utilize a singular in and out center for all their trades. As opposed to two or more export zones, which should be a hassle for investors. Global cities can serve as the center of trades, which lessens the hassles or stress that investors uh, experience in previous global trades. Second would be the economic powerhouse. Cities like Shanghai, London, and New York come to mind because of their unique placement as a global city. They contribute millions into the national economies of their own respective countries. Global cities will help their countries become economic powerhouses because of the opportunities they present to the countries that are considered as one. Next would be closer regions. Global cities experience a closer rel- relations with each other because to create global cities in a specific regions would be beneficial in generating a trading zone within the region, therefore making economic regions closer. With all that said, tune in for the next episode, which should be the finale of the series Global City.
Hello and welcome to the finale of Global City. Now, in the previous slides, we learned about the what is the global city and the good and bad, the pros and cons of a global city, and parts that make up a global city and and how we consider a global city in how we consider it. Now let's move on to the final episode, which is the aftermath. Global city aftermath. What happens now? Now, when we talk about this, we are talking about the future. Now, the future of the global city is that most of the global cities today will retain their status as global cities. For example, Shanghai, China will retain its status. It's projected to retain its status for at least the next 50 years, according to Oxford Economics. Now, we have some new contenders, and they are Mexico City, Mexico, Singapore. We also have Mumbai, India, and we could also possibly have Manila be considered as a global city because these cities fit the aforementioned criteria of having a centralized node and being an economic powerhouse and being in close relation to other regions, other trading hubs. And these these cities are the futures of our economy, of our worldwide economy. And but let us also keep in mind that, as we have seen through history, other many things can happen that we do not expect. So, for example, we may never possibly see Manila be a global city. A lot of things can happen, but let's keep our hopes up and hope that the Philippines can have a global city as well. Thank you for tuning in to Aftermath, a global city.